We've wrapped up the regular season, and it's time for postseason play to start with the Gulf South Conference baseball tournament this weekend. In this Lion Vision update, we'll preview the tournament with Coach Keene, Mike Keene, and Coach. Before we jump into the tournament, earlier this week, the Gulf South Conference released the all Gulf South Conference teams. We had 4 players honored, led by Tyler Joyner, a first-team selection, who was also named Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah, it's you never know what direction what's going to vote because it's obviously playing so many weekends. Everybody sees everybody, but I thought our numbers were good enough to get quite a few guys in there. Unfortunately, we'll do that. Obviously, Tyler Joyner was just looking at it. I thought he had a shot to be Pitcher of the Year because of his 3 more wins than the next closest guy, and he's had such a great year, and really proud of how he was able to get that award. We were talking about that, and I'm not sure when and if we've had one before, but it was great to see him. It's great for our pitching staff and great for Coach Hancock.
Drake Tucker joined Joyner on the first team, and for Drake, he's been one of the conference's top hitters all season, and for you, started at the back end of the lineup, and he's worked himself up to the front, and heading in the conference tournament, he's one of the hottest hitters in the conference. Yeah,
Drake's a great story. He came back, didn't play much, we talked about much here, but really came back with a purpose and a commitment, and just kept working his way. Not only worked his way in the lineup in the fall, but he worked his way up in the batting order. We started him out 9th, and he worked in 6th, and he's been in the 3-hole for quite a while, and it's just his ability to use the whole field and just compete so well at the plate. I just had a great year. I'm really proud of him to come back and do what he did and really persevere this season and just really has earned the opportunity and to get his name up outside in front of our stadium.
Kyle Hubbock and Davis Elliott were both second-team selections. Let's start with Hubbock, a junior first baseman. 12 home runs this year. I mean, that home run total is climbing up there on the career mark. A well-deserved honor for Hubbock.
I think, what Kyle did this year, obviously last year he had the same amount of home runs, but this year he's been hitting a little bit more average. He's been anywhere from 350 to 380 depending on how it goes because sometimes it fluctuates. But I think, the time, that's what he's been even refined himself a little bit more, has been one of the better hitters in our conference. And obviously he has the strength and the power that if you do make a mistake, he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And, Davis Elliott is another one. Came in here redshirted, got an opportunity to start as a freshman and just continued to improve and got better and got up at the front of our lineup and has had a very good year, very consistent year. He's been over 300 pretty much all year, and in conference he's done as well. And it's just well deserved for both of them. And like I said, it's real proud of all those guys to play like they did and perform. And then hopefully what we'll do is build that into the postseason.
And let's transition into the conference tournament starting this weekend. And for the first time ever, it's not your traditional tournament with bracket play per se. It's pool play. 2 pools of 4 teams. We're grouped up with West Alabama, Mississippi College, and West Florida. So we'll play those 3 schools starting this weekend. And before we jump into the first matchup on Saturday against West Florida, what's the strategy heading into pool play for the first time?
Well, I think that's what is kind of a little bit of excitement because you really, it's different. I've actually never played in pool play. I've never coached in pool play. It's always been double elimination tournaments. I've had my son played one way back when in youth ball, but it's a little bit different because you just kind of play. But this time, I don't know if, what the strategy is. I guess maybe to just win each game, and I think that's the best thing you can do because it's different because you know your opponents. And for 3 days in a row, you know who you're going to play. It's already set. So that's what I think is kind of different. I think what is the challenge is obviously, do you need some matchups or what do you need to do to win because of the tiebreakers and the highest seed and some of the things that are kind of set into prior to the tournament. So I think this is just like every tournament. You really got to win the games. You're going to you got to take each game, one game at a time. But I think the key is if you're 3-0, you're in the championship game.
The tournament starts on Saturday with North Alabama taking on West Florida. And, Coach, let's just preview that matchup for just 1 second. We took 2 out of 3 from the Argos down in Pensacola earlier this season. How have they finished out the season since then?
Well, West Florida, they've kind of had, they struggled kind of early, then they really found some traction and came back up. And at one time, I think they were either second or third, right back in the mix. You say they figured it out, then they kind of had a drop off again. So I know they've been a little bit more inconsistent of what we're used to with University of West Florida. But we know they're going to be a good ball club. It's just it's been so long ago since we played them, and now that's the same with us because we got a different lineup that we have. when we played them the first time, and I'm sure they're going to have a little bit different lineup than when we played them earlier in the season. So I think it's going to be a good matchup. It's like all these games, you're just going to have to play well. We're going to have to do what we need to do to be successful, and hopefully we'll pitch it well, play good defense, and our guys have been carrying us the whole year. Hopefully they have good tournaments.
The Gulf South Conference Baseball Tournament starts this weekend down in Cleveland, Mississippi on the campus of Delta State University. Game 1 Saturday against West Florida at 1:30 p.m. You can catch the action on 97.1 WBCF FM on the radio dial, also on the app as well if you want to listen along to the broadcast. But visit RoarLions.com to keep up with UNA baseball as they enter postseason.